Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. My name is Ian Bell, and this is my experimental archaeology project. So how exactly does an experimental archaeology project go? Well, there are 5 key steps whenever doing them. So what are the 5 steps to an experimental archaeology project? Well, first you have the question. What are you trying to answer, and how can you do it within an anthropological sense? The second is your background and research, looking at other people throughout history and anthropologists and how they accomplish these things. The third is your methods and how you are going to try and do this. The fourth is your results and how you see the fruits of your labor after you've done the project. And the last one, number 5, is discussion and seeing how it comes together and how it weighs against what you've done. So, what is the question we're trying to ask today? Well, we're going to see if we can cook an entire meal using only the nature around us. So, what exactly does that mean for me? That means I can only use tools that I can create and make outside. So mostly stone tools, flakes, wood, and whatever else, but nothing that's human or man-made. What we need to do first is let's make some flakes. I have this piece of obsidian here that I actually obtained while I was in Grandview, Ohio, so I'm going to count this in the project. But what I need to find now is a hammerstone so I can drive some flakes off of this and use them for my project. We took some time finding a hammerstone, and I found one to my liking. I found one. There we go. That's a good hammerstone. I'm going to try to drive some flakes off of this. What we learned in class is that anything at a 90-degree angle would be a good striking point. So I'm going to see if I can drive some flakes and maybe we can use those. So now we'll have a little time lapse and see how I do.
Ian for science.
An old glove. It's so obvious that it just shattered. So I got some flakes.
It's a good place for sifting. He invited me digging, so picked up a screen and a shovel.
Oh! Clovis! Now you may be wondering, should I be using more safety equipment? Of course, but I'm a master flint napper. So...
Let's get a close up of that blood.
What? Yeah, look at that blood.
I will do anything for an A. So, make sure you're always wearing your safety equipment whenever you start flint tapping. Make sure you don't get any bloody hands or anything, because I totally didn't do that earlier.
Trudged through the snow, straight up the hillside, took a ridge for a while, and we slowly went down to an overhang, hid from the ridge line.
So as you can see, I have some flakes here. This isn't all of them, but these are some of the good ones. Now I got my flakes, I have a sharp edge that I can use to prep the rest of my tools. So I'm going to gather up some sticks and a few things here and there so I can create some tools for hunting and cooking. So on my workbench, I got some grass. Then I got my flakes. And then my sticks. I'm going to use all 3 of these in order to fashion myself an atlatl to do some hunting. So I tore off all the parts of the branch that I wouldn't be using, and I proceeded to use my stone tools in order to shape it up a little bit, get the bark off and any little nubs so it was nice and smooth and easy to get. After that, I used the dead grass in order to attach a smaller stick in order to make a nice little ridge to be holding the spear. I got my atlatl. As you can see, I used the husks of the dead grass in order to get this little point stick here. Now all I gotta do is make some spears to hunt some squirrels. So the stick I got here is pretty straight, and it's about a decent size for the little notch I'm going to create here. So all I gotta do is make sure I got a nice sharp point for the squirrel. So then I began to sharpen a spear point at one end of the stick using my stone tool. After we got this done, we then decided to go hunting for some squirrels. I went around with my atlatl for about 30 to 45 minutes, but I still couldn't find any. But then, I found a tree where I did some foraging and got some berries. I then decided my best plan of action was to set a trap for the squirrels, so that I could get them with my atlatl up close. However, when all hope was lost, I saw a fox and pegged him right in the back. And just so you know, we didn't harm any foxes during this video. So let's get cooking. We moved inside, but we're still sticking to the use of only tools that we find in nature. So the first thing with the fox is now we have to remove the hide. So I got a flake right here, and I'm just gonna. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to work on carving this up.
And now, for the grossest part of all this, me taking apart this chicken using only the flakes. So I removed the legs and the wings, as well as the breast.
Clovis, I stole off a Nolan when I killed him that day. I reckon the chase of the pills and the powder, corn liquor, the women are the culprits to blame.
Now my chicken breast, legs, wings, and the rest of the carcass. Then I traded my fox pelt for some spices from a friendly European. I had a ceramic bowl that I made from high school, and I used the stone tools in order to pestle it together. The spices aren't really necessary, but I did it more as a touch because I'm not a monster and I spice my food. As you can see, I also have some maize there. I started the fire using 2 sticks. You don't believe me? Are you a cop? I then roasted the chicken on skewers and continued until everything seemed done. Did I answer my question at the end of the day? Well, I got a rough time frame for tool creation and my own abilities, as well as butchering a chicken and cooking it over some coals. It took about 4 hours and 15 minutes to do everything. Part of the reason I had not gone forth with the hunting aspect of things was because I did not actually have a hunting license in Ohio, although one could make the argument that neither did the Native Americans. I would have also preferred that the animal that I had prepped wasn't processed before I had gotten it. I think this would be a fun experiment to retry with a little more preparation in advance, such as getting a hunting license and doing it during deer season. What can I say is, I think it is possible to do this, based on other cases, but the experiment doesn't quite replicate the archaeological record because of my exception I made with hunting. What I did find is that I got some times for tool creation as well as times from cooking and butchering. However, there are still these variables of how processed the chicken was beforehand and as well as hunting time.